Garlic mustard is a common invasive species that has taken over the understory of many of the forests in our Lower Hudson PRISM region. The species is likely to be present on your own property as well, so definitely be on the lookout. It's a biennial flowering herb that's obviously a member of the mustard family. It can grow to be about 3 feet tall, but it can even be taller than that. Here you see it from a viewpoint from its top in its first year of growth. Here it is a viewpoint from the top in its second year of growth. And here is a viewpoint from the side during its second year after it's lost its leaves. As I alluded to, it's got a 2-year life cycle. So just to go into a little bit more detail on that, you might see the seedlings start to appear in around April, and they're almost like oval-shaped little flat pancakes that you might see. And during that first year of growth, they start to become rounder in shape and have these scalloped edges to it, or these kidney shapes with scalloped edges that can grow to be about 2 to 4 inches off the ground. It's during this phase that the leaves are referred to as rosettes. When you touch these leaves and you crumble them up, you can actually smell, it smells a little bit like garlic when this crushed, and they're not hairy like some of its common lookalikes. During the second year of growth, you'll start to see that these rosettes start to what is called bolt upwards. The leaves will get noticeably larger and more triangular in shape and again are more coarsely toothed and more triangular in shape. Each will start as one stem, but you may see many stems on some of these plants if they're stepped on or disturbed in some way. And then around May, you'll start to see these white flowers start to come out. They tend to cluster at the top of the stem and have 4 white petals on them. Once the leaves are lost, then all you'll see is left behind are these stalks, or these multiple spike-like calyx, they're called, with the seeds located in them. These seeds are dispersed through ballistic propulsion, and each plant can carry up to 800 seeds, or 28 seeds per calyx. Once the plant is dead, they can be identified by these sort of erect stalks that are left behind that are more of this pale brown color. In terms of its history of introduction, it was native to northeastern Europe and from Sweden and Germany south to Italy. It's found in parts of East Asia as well, and really found worldwide now. It was introduced in the United States in the mid-1860s for medicinal and food purposes. And as you can see here, it can actually be picked and ground into a pesto. It's a good source of vitamin A and C and was originally used to treat gangrene and ulcers for medicinal purposes. It was also planted in the US for erosion control, which is ironic because now it's totally taken over the understory of many forests in our area. Its aggressive invasive tendencies were really not recognized until the late 20th century, and it's now extant in over 36 states in the United States from its original distribution in Long Island. In terms of its ecology, habitat, and impacts, it's found in a variety of different habitats in the Hudson Valley region, from riverbanks to roadsides to disturbed wetlands, and it thrives in the understory of closed canopy woodlands and forests, and can even be found in more undisturbed habitats. It appears to favor shaded sites with rich, moist soils, and dense stands can control light, water, and nutrients and outcompete native herbs that occupy a similar niche. Some of these native wildflowers that it can outcompete include spring beauty, wild ginger, and bloodroot. And yeah, as you can see in this lower picture here, complete coverage in 10 years if not controlled properly. To make matters worse, it's typically inedible and even toxic to caterpillars and insects that we're trying to preserve as well. So a double whammy of outcompeting native plants and also not being utilized as a food resource or even toxic to our native insects. Some of the reasons for invasion success obviously include this absence of natural controls in North America, but it can also self-fertilize and cross-pollinate. As I mentioned before, it has high seed production and long-term viability of the seeds. So even though the viability of the seed bank declines drastically after the first year, a small percent can remain for up to 6 years. So early management is really key. It has a variety of different dispersal mechanisms. I mentioned the ballistic propulsion of the seeds, but they can also adhere to hikers, small mammals, and even transported by water. So they're often found along trails where there's a lot of disturbance. You will experience and see the rapid growth in the second year. And also another huge advantage is that it releases these allelopathic or toxic compounds that can inhibit competitors' growth. To learn more about how to ID these in the field, definitely tune into our field ID video, which follows this one. But just to summarize, during the first year, you'll see these rounded, shallowly toothed leaves or rosettes that turn into, in the second year, they start to bolt upright, become more triangular in shape, the leaves, and you'll start to see these white flowers appear and these long upright pods towards the end of its second year that contain the seeds. I hope you learned something and continue to view our field ID to learn more.